Record. Okay, so good afternoon, all of you. Welcome to this lecture of refrigeration and air conditioning, right? So, am I audible? Somebody reply. Yes, am I audible? So, somebody put in the chat box. Okay. So welcome you all to this lecture of refrigeration air conditioning. So up to this point, let us recap whatever we have learned. So we have started the VCRS system, vapor compression refrigeration system. We have covered the theoretical part, the basic theoretical part of VCRS. We also covered the various types of the VCRS. There are some conditions in the VCRS that also we have studied. Then we started the numerical part, right? Now in numerical, I think we have covered one numerical. So there are many numericals are there depending on the condition of the refrigerant at the entry of compressor, at the exit of compressor, at the entry of evaporator. So there are many conditions are there. Depending, there will be various numericals will be there. Okay. So I think we'll start with some revision. Okay, it's been a few days like we have covered that numericals. Let us see how many of you really remember, right? So I'll share the screen, right? Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to all of you, and I'll start the presentation, right? Okay, so we are in this second chapter, VCRS and VRS system, right? Uh, so before going to the today's lecture, let us see one of the major applications of the refrigeration and air conditioning. Okay, so what you see on the screen, that is a Svalbard global seed vault. Okay, so it is actually in the mountains of the Alps. There is this lab is been developed. Okay, so this lab or this storage unit is basically for the seeds of the various plants. Okay, now what is the need of storing seeds in such a environment here, right? So it is a theoretical mostly, because it is assumed that when this world or this earth will face it will face its doomsday. Okay, so it is like it is actually theoretical that there will be war, then there will be massacre, millions of people will die, millions of animals will die, and there will be fire, and the trees will get burned, and total devastation will be there on the planet Earth. Okay, so they have assumed this condition. Now, if you want to start a life from this point onward, so you need seeds, right? Then you have to plant the seeds again in the soil, then again this life will grow. So this is all theoretical part is there. There are very less chances in my opinion, so this will ever happen, but still they are storing this seed wall again. If you want to start a life in other planets, right? Now they are sending shuttles on Mars and other planets. In that case, if you want to start a life, so if you have seen picture Interstellar, in that Interstellar, they are sending embryos in other planets, in other dimensions, not dimension, other galaxies, to start a life there. So if you want to do such cases, in that case again you will need seeds and embryos. So those seeds are being stored in this vault. This is a Svalbard global seed vault. Again, in this case, a complex refrigeration system is being employed there, because seeds will be stored in specific temperature and humidity values. So that condition is being maintained with the help of a refrigeration system. This is again very good example for the refrigeration and air conditioning. So if you are more interested, you can go to the YouTube. You can search for this Svalbard global seed vault. They show you the inside view also. Okay, right, right. So again, this is it. Some diagram is there. So actually, this part, what you see, this is the outward. But if you see the inward, there is a tunnel. Inside the tunnel, you have to go inside, and then there will be this three vault rooms will be there. So in this vault room, these seeds will be stored. Okay. Now there is a myth. Okay, there is a myth that they are storing also. They are storing genes like or DNAs of human beings also, human beings or animals, so that that life can also be started. So with seeds, you can start the plants and tree plantation, and with these embryos or the small DNAs or small whatever being our small sample will be there. From that also we can start a new life. So that concept is there. It is all theoretical, but still, if there is a chance, it will help. Okay, so let us recap. Let us see how many of you remember this VCRS cycle on pH diagram. What you see on the screen, there is a pH chart is there. Okay, so again there is a saturation liquid curve, saturation vapor curve. There is a this critical point is there. and there is this VCR cycle is there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now the question is identify components in sequence. So you have to follow the sequence 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 4 options, right? So select the correct options. So which component is at point 1, which component is at point 2, which component is at point 3, which is at 4. So this way we have to think. Okay. So think and put your answers in the chat box. Let us see how many of you are correct in this case. Yes. So you have to identify which component is at point 1, at 2, at 3, at 4. So this is actually VCR cycle which is being plotted on a pH chart. So type your answers in the chat box. Let us see how many of you remember. Yes, any answers? So you have to identify the component in the sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 options like compressor, condenser, expansion, evaporator. So this means at 1, this option says there is compressor, at 2 there is condenser, 3 expansion, evaporator. So you have to select the correct option. So Sushant has typed A. Okay, others. Yes, only one answer is there. Others also give your answers. You have to identify the components, the sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, sir. A. Okay. So any other guesses? So should I call by name? So Aarti Lale, Prajakta Surve, Vaibhav Bhosle, Manthan Dikshit, Amol Mari, Ridham Parmar, Santosh Patil, Salim Sheikh, Aftab Sheikh, Yasser Khatik, Akash Asgar, Avinash Dabade, Nitin Ekmalli, Sushant Jadhav, Akash Mane, Shubham Devkar, Rohit Salgar, Nana Sahib Shinde. So type your answers. Let us see how many of you have really understood this VCRS system. So Mrudhi A. Okay. So see here, the right answer actually here it is. Okay, so okay, I think some A will be the correct answer. Actually, this question itself is something wrong because evaporator will lie here between 4 to 1. So sorry. So here evaporator will lie, right? So 4 to 1, that will be evaporator, right? So 1 to 2 will be again compression. So I think answer A is correct. Okay, so this is not the correct answer. Answer is correct. 1 to 2 is compression, 2 to 3 is a condenser, and 3 to 4 is a expansion. So this option A is correct. Right. Right. So this example we have solved in the last lecture. So today we'll start our next numerical. Okay, second numerical we'll take today. So it says a refrigeration machine using R12 as a refrigerant operates between the pressure 2.5 bar and 9 bar. So 2.5 will be evaporation pressure, 9 bar will be condenser pressure. The compression is isentropic and there is no undercooling in the condenser. Okay. So undercooling means cooling below the saturation temperature. The vapor is in dry saturated condition at the beginning of compression. That means exit of evaporation is dry saturated condition. So that will lie on saturated vapor curve. Estimate the theoretical coefficient of performance. If the actual coefficient of performance is 0.65 of theoretical value, calculate the net cooling produced per hour. The refrigerant flow is 5 kg per minute. Properties of the refrigerant are given. So see here pressure is given. So 9 bar pressure, obviously this will be pressure of condenser. And 2.5 bar pressure will be of evaporator. Okay. Now see here temperature. This temperature means this is a saturation temperature. So at 9 bar for R12 saturation temperature is 36 degrees Celsius. For R12 at 2.5 bar saturation temperature is -7 degrees Celsius. Saturation temperature means that liquid refrigerant will start to convert into vapor. Now enthalpy is given. So liquid enthalpy is given. So we already know liquid saturated enthalpy, that is HF, and here vapor is given, that is Hg. Now here entropy is given, saturated vapor that will be Sg. So this is a Sg is given 0.6836 for 9 bar and 0.7 for 2.5 bar. Okay. Take the Cp, specific heat at constant pressure for superheated vapor at 9 bar as 0.64 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay. So first we'll draw a pH chart and a TS chart diagram. On that we'll show this VCR cycle. Then only we can proceed. Okay, because this chart, pH chart and TS chart, that will give you clarity about what is happening in this case, right? Now let us draw a pH chart. So you also draw with me. Okay. So first I will draw a pH chart. Now here the condition is given as the vapor is dry saturated condition at the beginning of compression. Okay. So at the beginning of compression that will be 0.1. So 0.1 lies here. Beginning of compression is dry saturated. So obviously 0.2 will be again isentropic compression. So here will be 0.2, which will lie in the superheated state. Okay. Now pay attention. Okay, this point is very important here. Drawing the pH diagrams, whether it is a Rankine cycle in a heat engine or this VCR cycle in refrigeration. These two things are very important. People actually pay in these gate classes or technical classes after graduation for these things, or they understood this after graduation. Okay, because these are very important diagrams. If you want to do gate or IS, so these questions will be there. Okay, so you go and check last year or last to last year, previous year questions. You will observe that there will be one question from refrigeration and there will be one question from Rankine cycle. These questions are fixed. So to understand that, you have to understand this pH and TS diagram. Okay. So 2 to 3 is again what condensation will be there. 3 to 4 it will be isenthalpic expansion, and 4 to 1 will be evaporation. Okay, so this will the cycle will go on. Let us draw a TS diagram. Why I'm telling this? Because me myself, when I attended the gate classes in Hyderabad, or the S academic. So that time also I didn't understood the PH and TS diagram. Okay, so it takes time to understand this. I know that, but you ask. Okay, if you even if you don't understand, you ask, right? So let us draw a TS diagram, temperature versus entropy. So beginning of compression is dry saturated, so point 1 will be here, and compression is isenthalpic, sorry, isentropic. So this will be a straight line, 1 to 2. So 2 to 3 will be again condensation, 3 to 4 will be isenthalpic expansion. So this will be 0.4, and 4 to 1 will be evaporation. So this way the cycle will go on. Okay. Now in this case, what they have given data here, it is mass flow rate is given of refrigerant is 5 kg per minute, right? So mass flow rate is given 5 kg per minute. Let us convert it into standard unit. So standard unit will be kg per second. So let us see. So 5 kg divided by 60. So this will give you in kilojoule per second. Okay. So calculate 5 by 60. How it is come? So calculate the mass flow rate. So meanwhile, I will put the values also here. So see here in this case, the condenser pressure here it is 9 bar. So let us say this is in bar, and here evaporation pressure here it is 2.5 bar. Okay, so that value also I will put here in this case. The temperature here at condenser pressure temperature here 36 degrees Celsius. So this is in degrees Celsius, and here it is -7 degrees Celsius. Okay. So have you calculated the mass flow rate? Okay, good. 0.0833, right? So 0.0833. Okay, so this will be the mass flow rate. Okay. Now here our main objective is to calculate, estimate the theoretical coefficient of performance, also refrigeration effect. So how to calculate the theoretical coefficient of performance? So COP will be equal to refrigeration effect divided by compressor work. So here refrigeration effect is H1 minus H4 divided by H2 minus H1. Now here in this case, see H1 lies on this saturation vapor curve. Okay, that is already given in the given data, the enthalpy of dry saturated vapor. So H1 is given. Now H4, how to calculate H4? H4 will be equal to H3 because this is an isenthalpic process 3 to 4. So, and 0.3 lies on saturated liquid curve. So that is also given, enthalpy of a saturated liquid at 9 bar. So H1 and H4 can be calculated, or easily can be calculated. Main task is here to calculate H2. So H2 calculation H2 will take some time. So let us first write down the given data. H1 will be equal to enthalpy at of dry saturated at 2.5 bar. Okay, so 2.5 bar is here. We have to go for enthalpy of vapor, so that will be 184.5. So this will be 184.5 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay. Next here it is calculation of H4. H4 will be equal to H3 because this process is isenthalpic. H3, what is the H3? H3 is the enthalpy of saturated liquid at 9 bar. So we have to go to the 9 bar at saturated liquid condition. So that enthalpy here it is 70.55. So this will be 70. No, sorry. Yes, correct. 70.55 kilojoule per kg. Okay. Now, how to calculate H2? Now, see here, point 2 lies in the superheated region. So, let us say this point here it is 2 dash. This point here it is 2 dash. Okay, so H2, calculation of H2 will be enthalpy at point 2 dash plus Cp delta T. So delta T will be T2 minus T2 dash. Okay. Now here H2 dash, what will be the H2 dash? H2 dash, here it will be enthalpy of dry saturated vapor at 9 bar. So we'll go back here at 9 bar. You have to go to the vapor, and here enthalpy is 201.8. So H2 dash will be 201.8 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay. Cp, what is Cp is given in this case? It is given here already 0.64 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So 0.64. What is T2 dash? T2 dash is nothing but a saturation temperature at 9 bar. So that is also given for 9 bar saturation temperature. Here it is 36 degrees Celsius. So 36 degrees Celsius. You can convert that into Kelvin, no problem. So this plus 273. So this will be what? 309 Kelvin, right? Here what we don't know is a T2. We don't know what is the value of T2. Now how to calculate T2? Okay. So calculation of T2. Okay. How to calculate T2? So that is very crucial job here. So calculation of T2, for that we can take advantage of one condition here, that is entropy at point 1. That will be entropy at point 2, because that is an isentropic process. So entropy will remain constant. S1 will be equal to S2. Okay. Now S1 entropy is already given in this case. So entropy of saturated vapor is given. S1 is evaporation. So at 2.5 bar, entropy of saturated vapor, here it is 0.7001. Okay. So 0.7001. So that will be S2. Okay. So this will be equal to S2. Now S2's formula will be what? S2 entropy at point 2 will be entropy at point 2 dash plus Cp ln T2 by T1. So T2 divided by T2 dash. So I hope you are understanding what is happening here. In order to calculate any property in the superheated region, you have to take the property at 2 dash plus this much. Okay. So if it is enthalpy, this will be Cp delta T. If it is entropy, that will be log Cp log T2 by T. Okay. Now in this case, I will put the values 0.7001 will be equal to S2 dash. What is the S2 dash? S2 dash is the entropy of dry saturated at 9 bar. Okay. So entropy at 9 bar, dry saturated, here it is given as 0.6836. So this will be equal to 0.6836. Correct? Plus Cp is given again 0.64 into log T2 is unknown, and T2 dash is what? Saturation temperature, that is 36 degrees Celsius or 309 Kelvin. So from this, calculate the value of T2. That will be in Kelvin. Okay. So there are many ways to solve this equation, right? One way is directly you put the equation like this in the calculator and go for solve. It will give you the value of T2. Otherwise, you can solve this in steps also. But better way, if you have a calci, in that case, you can put this as an equation like 0.001, then equal to 0.68 plus 36 plus 0.64 into log in bracket T2. Instead of T2, you can write in calculator there is X or Y is there divided by 309 bracket complete. And then you can go for shift solve. That will give you direct value of T2. Okay. So I hope you are familiar with these tricks in the calci. Or anybody want to solve this by taking steps, that also can be done. Okay. So I will show that process how to solve in steps. So this can be solved. So I will take this 0.68 to this side. So 0.007001 minus 0.6836 equal to 0.64 log T2 divided by 309. Okay. So log T2 divided by T2 dash will be equal to this subtraction divided by 0.64. So you calculate this value. Again, you can take this expansion here. Okay. So calculate this one, how much it comes. 0.7001 minus 0.6836 divided by 0.64. You can calculate this. Okay. Otherwise, okay, I will calculate. 0.7001 minus 0.6836, and this will be divided by 0.64. Okay, so this one comes out to be 0.0257, right? If I am correct, right? And here this is a LHS. Okay, now in this case you can take a inverse log, right? So you can take this as T2 by T2 dash. So T2 dash we already know that is a 309, and this on this side it will be exponential 0.0257. So you solve this in calculator, ultimately you will get a value of T2. So tell me the value of T2. So anybody has calculated? Calculate and put in the chat box. So most probably this semester's our examination will be offline mode, and if such questions comes in the examination, so you better be prepared. So pay your attention, utmost attention here. If you have any problem, you can ask, we can solve. Okay. Again, if anybody is preparing for GATE or IES, in that case, if you have some problems, if some questions you cannot solve from any practice book, so you can contact me. I will try to solve it. I will try to explain it also you. So I have seen students paying huge money on this other classes. Like many classes are there, upgrade is there, Unacademy is there. Many classes are there. They are spending their money on these classes. But the thing is, they lack the focus. Okay, they think that okay, anyway, if they are paying, obviously those instructor or mentors, definitely they are highly qualified. They will be good. But that is not the case. Okay, so 50% is their part, but 50% is your part also. Your part is to practice it and gain the confidence that you can solve any example, right? That stage is also very important. That you have to go to that stage. You have to practice you have to practice a lot, that you gain to that stage where you feel that you can solve any example in the world. So that is that stage you have to achieve. Okay. So T2 calculated by Saurabh and Yasser is somewhat same, 317.04. So I will write it down here. 317.04. Point 0.04. Okay. So this will be T2. Now why we are calculating T2? This T2 value will be put in this equation, in this H2 equation. Okay. So H2 dash is known, Cp is known, T2 is now we are calculated, T2 dash is known. Now we can easily calculate the value of H2. Okay. So let us calculate H2. So H2 will be equal to H2 dash is how much? 201.8. 201.8 plus Cp is how much? 0.64, 0.64 into T2. Now T2 we are calculated 317.04 minus how much is T2 dash? T2 dash is 309. 309. So calculate H2. So this will be in kilojoule per kg Kelvin. And then easily you can calculate the COP also. Okay, how much? 206.94. Okay, great. So enthalpy here is calculated by you is 206.94. Now how to calculate the COP? So COP here we can calculate the value. So formula here it is H1 minus H4 divided by H2 minus H1. So how much is H1 here? H1 is 184.5. So 184.5 minus H4 is how much we have calculated? H4 is here 70.55, 70.55, and this divided by H2 we have calculated 206.94 minus H1 is 184.5. Okay, to calculate this will be your theoretical COP. Okay. Okay, Onkar has calculated. Others also please calculate. Now those who are practicing programming languages, I'm saying practicing, not theory. Those who are actually practicing, so they can write the programs related to this VCRS cycle also. So such a way that you have to enter only the condenser pressure and evaporation pressure. Only pressure values you will put, and it will give you directly the COP of the plant. Okay, or you have to select the various configuration. You can select from the screen or from the program. Then it will give you the COP. So those softwares are also there already. Okay. You can practice it, right? So simple Python programming or C++ or C, that also you can calculate the COP. So just you have to know the what will be the H1 values in that case, and you can put this formula of COP. From this formula and enthalpy values, you can calculate the COP. Okay. So those who are new in the programming, they can do this simple mathematical programming programs in there for their practice. So those who are interested, they can also, there is a one page by IIT Bombay, FOSSEE. So in FOSSEE's website, they have actually done this case. They have used Python for calculating or solving the problems of various branches. So if you take mechanical engineering, civil engineering, so we have textbook, right? In textbook, we have such kind of problems are there. So they have tried to use Python programming to solve these numericals. Okay. So if I get time, one day we'll see that one also. So we'll see one problem and how to solve that in Python. So that also we can see, right? So now calculate the COP. Let us see how many of you have calculated. 5.07, 5.09. So there are two values. I'll take randomly 5.07. This is a theoretical COP. Now what they have told here is the actual is 0.65 times theoretical. So actual theoretical. So this is theoretical, and COP actual will be equal to 0.65 into COP theoretical. So this will be equal to 0.65 into 5.07. So calculate this one. So this will be your actual COP. Okay, Onkar has calculated, others also calculate. So without calculating, we will not get confidence. Okay, and that is for sure. You practice it now, so that when your exam will be there at that time, you can simply revise it. Okay. But if you don't do it now, and again, if you have to study at the time of examination, so that will create a huge stress on yourself only. Right. So I'll take your answers. So 3.3 I will take. So the actual COP here in this case, this will be 3.3. Okay. Now what they have asked here, calculate the net cooling produced per hour. Okay. Net cooling produced per hour, that is nothing but the refrigeration effect. Okay. So I hope you are written up to this stage. Okay. Okay. So next part here, it is the calculation of actual refrigeration effect. Okay. Now in this case, it is assumed that the compressor work, whatever we have calculated previously, that will remain constant. Okay. So actual COP, from that we can calculate the actual refrigeration effect. So COP actual will be equal to actual refrigeration effect divided by compressor work. Okay. So here it is assumed that the compressor work will remain the same. So here it will be 3.3 will be equal to actual refrigeration effect divided by compressor work will be equal to H2 minus H1. So this will be again equal to actual refrigeration effect divided by H2 is 206.94 minus 184.5, 3.3. So calculate the actual refrigeration effect. So again, in this case, this is in kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So this will be also in kilojoule per kg Kelvin, right? So calculate the actual refrigeration effect. This will be in kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So again, if you multiply this value by the mass flow rate, that is 0.0833. So this will again give you in the value of kilowatt. Okay. Right. So 74 you have calculated. That will be the actual refrigeration effect. 74 point, how much you have calculated? 0.052. Okay. So 74.052 into mass flow rate. So this is kilojoule per kg Kelvin. We are multiplying this by kilojoule per second. So kilojoule will cancel. Okay, not Kelvin. So kilojoule per kg. And kilojoule will cancel. So this will be kilojoule per second. Kilojoule per second is nothing but kilowatt. Okay. So calculate in the kilowatt. So Omkar, so why others are not calculating? Only I can see only 2 to 3 people who are actually participating into this. Okay, Samruddhi, Aarti also calculate. So 61.68, right? So something is wrong. Calculate how much it is. I think that will be 6 point something, na? 6.16, right? Correct. So this will be equal to so some problem is there with this. Okay, so this will be equal to 6 point, sorry, 6.16. Okay, now they have asked to calculate it per hour. Okay, so if you see the actual example here, they have told to calculate the net cooling produced per hour. Okay, so this is a cooling rate per second. You can easily calculate per hour. Okay, how to calculate per hour? So 6.16 into how many seconds are there in 1 hour? So that will be 3600. So this will give you the kilojoule per hour net refrigeration effect. Okay, so calculate this one also. Yes, yes, 22,176. Okay, okay, great. So 22,176 kilojoule per hour. So that will be your net refrigeration effect produced per hour. Okay. So once again, I will repeat this process, how we have calculated this thing. So you have a problem, condenser pressure is 9 bar, 2.5 bar is the evaporation pressure. They have given the enthalpy and entropy value. Then simply you have to calculate the COP. For the calculation of COP, H1 and H4 are easily calculated from the given data, but H2 takes some extra efforts to calculate it. Okay. In H2 calculation of H2, that is a enthalpy at the exit of compressor. We need to know the temperature at the exit of compressor. So that T2 also need to be calculated. For calculation of T2, you have made use of one property that is isentropic process. So entropy before the compression and before and after the compression, S1 will be equal to S2. So the entropies will remain same. From that we have calculated the T2. From T2 again we have calculated H2. From that we have calculated the COP. Now the actual COP is 0.65 times of theoretical COP. So that we have calculated the actual COP. From actual COP we have calculated the actual refrigeration effect. Just we have converted last into the per hour basis. Okay. So I hope you have understood this numerical. If you have any doubt, please ask. Okay. Now one more numerical is there, but I think the time is not there. But we'll take one small numerical. Okay, just for so this will take hardly 5 minutes if you understood the problem. Now there is one dairy plant, you have to design it. So if you become mechanical engineer, refrigeration engineer, and one of your villagers say that I want to build a dairy plant. A simply dairy plant means they want to build a chilling plant. So many of you are already aware of chilling plants are there, where milk is cooled, it is stored, and it is taken out whenever it is required. Okay, so chilling plants are there. So such one chilling plant is there. One villager comes to you because he knows that you are mechanical engineer. He says that I want to design this plant. Now give me the calculation. Okay. Now here once problem is given. So a simple way of estimating a capacity of refrigeration plant of a bulk cooler having 5,000 liters of milk storage capacity is given below. So that I will give. So here density of the milk is 1.032 gram per centimeter cube. Okay. Then specific heat of milk is 3.9 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Initial temperature is 35 degrees Celsius. So that when farmers go to the dairy plant, The temperature is 35 degrees Celsius. Final cooling temperature is 2 degrees Celsius. So that milk or the temperature of chilled milk has to be 2 degrees Celsius. Now you have to calculate the refrigeration capacity of the plant. Okay. So let us write down the given data one by one. Also read the problem. If anybody is able to solve, you can solve very fast. Okay. Now here the volume is given, that is 5,000 liters, or we can say 5 meter cube, right? Now here in this case, again the density of milk is given. How much it is? 1.032 gram per centimeter cube. So in this case, you have to just multiply by 1000. So that will be 1032 kg per meter cube. Okay. So if you multiply density by volume, that will give you mass, right? Again, specific heat is given. Cp is given 3.9 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Let us say T1 is 35 degrees Celsius. T2 here it is 2 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now how to calculate the refrigeration effect or refrigeration capacity of the plant? Simply you have to do the MC delta T. It is as simple as it is. Okay. So delta T here it will be in bracket T1 minus T2. How to calculate mass? So mass will be equal to density into volume. So this will be 5 meter cube into 1032, right? Cp is given 3.9, okay, into delta T. So T1 is 35 degrees Celsius minus 2 degrees Celsius. So here I am not converted into Kelvin because we are taking a subtraction. So that 273 will cancel out. So calculate this one. So this will give you in, I think, kilojoule, because this is in kg. This is in kg. This is in kilojoule per kg Kelvin, right? So sorry, am I correct? 5 into 1032, this will be mass. Yes, correct. So this will be Cp and this will be delta T. So calculate. Let us see how many of you are able to calculate it. So this will be in kilojoule. So you can convert that into kilowatt. So let us say you want to cool this, or you want to cool this milk from 35 to 2 degrees Celsius in 4 hours, right? So this cooling has to be done in 4 hours. So how you can calculate the refrigeration capacity? So QL will be equal to, calculate this in kilojoule divided by 4 hours. 4 into 3600. So have you calculated it? 664092. Okay. 664092. So do this, though this will give you in kilowatt. Okay. So I have assumed that it will take 4 hours to cool the milk from 35 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius. So how much refrigeration effect or how much heat has to be extracted from the milk, that can be calculated as this. So calculate first this in kilojoule, so that you have calculated 664092 divided by the 4 hours. 4 hours means 4 into 3600 seconds. So that will give you in kilowatt. So calculate in kilowatt, and then you can convert this kilowatt into tons of refrigeration also. 46.11. Okay, Yasser has calculated 46.11. Now how to convert into tons of refrigeration? So divide by 3.5. So that will give you in tons of refrigeration. So calculate first 46.11 divided by 3.5. 4611 divided by 3.5. So that will give you tons of refrigeration. Yes. So Yasser has calculated. Good. 13.17 will be the answer. So you can tell your villager or your fellow colleague who is interested in starting a dairy chilling plant. that 13.17 tons of refrigeration capacity is being required. Okay, so this is the first step, right? Knowing how much heat has to be extracted. तर ह्या केसमध्ये काय झालं की 13.7 टन्स ऑफ रेफ्रिजरेशनची रिक्वायरमेंट आहे. आता तुम्ही काय करणार, हे टन्स ऑफ रेफ्रिजरेशन तुम्ही काय सांगणार, कंपन्यांना सांगणार, जे स्टँडर्ड कंपनी आहे, ब्लू स्टार सारख्या, वोल्टास. सो दॅट देन दे विल गिव्ह यू द डिझाईन ऑफ द प्रॉपर रेफ्रिजरेशन प्लांट विच विल बी सुटेबल फॉर दिस कंडिशन. मग ते येते, ते परत इन्स्टॉल करते, देअर सेटअप विल बी डन बाय देम. But in initial phases, you can also calculate the capacity of a dairy chilling plant. Okay, so this is as simple as it is. There is no complexity required. No need to calculate pH chart, TS chart. Simply by knowing the properties of the milk and the temperature values, you can easily calculate the capacity of a chilling plant. Okay, so I think that is enough for today. So put your attendance in the chat box, and then we can stop. Okay, so put your attendance.